Mr. Obscure Truth, how are you? Welcome in. Yes, we are all blessed. Definitely. I think we all need to, I can't tell people what to do. Ain't my business, ain't my problem. People gonna do what they gonna do. But as for me, I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna give God glory for me being here because I don't have to be. God knows. But look, today's discussion, your attachment style is secretly running your life. People don't want to hear that. But today, today we might discover why we keep attaching to the same type of people, Why dating feels easier for some and exhausting for others. And we're gonna find that out soon. But yeah, people don't want to talk about these real things, these real conversations. These are conversations quite often a lot of us avoid. So yeah, I want to talk about attachment style and the psychology behind it. I normally have not had like focused panels on this. It has came up in a lot of my previous panels. So yeah, I wanted to get into it, dig a little deeper, and I found out that there are four different types of attachment styles. So it's kind of like, are we selecting our people based on our type or attachment style, which attachment style is usually a pattern. Sam, Grand Rising, welcome in, welcome in. How are you? Thank you for the daily heart me and for the likes, everybody. I appreciate it. And if you can tap everybody coming in, come on in. Pull up a chair, pull up a seat. If you have time today, I will give you my time today. Thank you so much. Oh, okay, Sam, I see you reach level 10. Okay, thank you. Yay. Celebration. Frenchie Frameworks. How are you? How are you doing this morning? Grand Rising, everybody. So yeah, by the end of this live, Sachin, welcome in. By the end of this live, most of the people will know their attachment style. So if you're interested in wanting to know your attachment style, or even if you have one, and I think everybody got an attachment style, but yeah. Hey, I'm glad that you're doing all right, Frenchie. Frenchie, it's good to see you. Everybody has an attachment style, I believe. But if you stick around for a while, you may find out what yours is because there are four types of attachment styles. Four types. And if you're interested in knowing, like I said, join the round table, pull up a chair, come up to the box. Let's talk about it. And I'm sure some people, quite a few people, they're aware of this. Thank you so much. Hi, guys. Hi, Hussein, Sachin. Welcome in. Thank you. Welcome in. Thank you to the people that's coming
Hello,
in to
man.
tap the room up for me. I appreciate you guys. That will definitely help push me to the FYP and get more people in the room. Hi. Good morning.
How, how are you?
Okay. There we go. There we go. I think I can hear. Do y'all hear the lawnmowers going on outside? I don't know if y'all. Hmm. Okay. Thank you guys for tapping me up. Thank you, Hussein and Sachin. I appreciate you. I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you? How are you? Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much. appreciate the support. Okay, you didn't hear at first what? The lawnmowers outside, do you hear them? Now, this mic is supposed to be noise cancellation. So if you hear them, you shouldn't be hearing them. But apparently the lawnmowers are. Oh, for real? Oh my God, no. My Lord. Oh, okay, okay. So yeah. Oh, okay, it's not that bad. Great. All right. All right. So yeah. Um, which attachment style for the people that's actually in the comments that is here in the room, attachment styles, are you secure, anxious, avoidant, or you're unsure of your attachment style? Thank you so much. Thank you for the heart, me, Sachin. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bestie, welcome in. Thank you for joining. Thank you, everybody, for joining. But yeah, I wanted to know, which attachment style are you? Are you
Join me, Shankar.
secure? Huh? What you say,
Join me,
Sachin?
Shankar. Shankar is good tapper.
Oh, he's a good tapper. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Shankar,
I think that's what it. Okay. So that's what he was saying. All right. So listen, back to what I was saying. There's a secure attachment style, avoidant attachment style. Hey, Derek, welcome in. There's an anxious attachment style, and there is unsure. And I found out that there are two different types of avoidant attachments. One is a fearful avoidant, and one is a dismissive avoidant. So I would like to know, what do you identify, if you identify with any. And if you're unsure, feel free, just put unsure in the comments. But secure, anxious, avoidant, or unsure. And thank you so much for everybody for the daily heart me. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate it. You're anxious, yeah. I was anxious. I might still have a touch of it though. I think I still might have it. It depends on how much I like you. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. It depends on how much I like you. So, does that make me anxious? Attachment still? I'm less now though. It still be bubbling sometimes. Okay, okay. And now I wanted to touch on some things. Shows up in conflict. Oh, okay. My attachment style. Frenchie said my attachment style was more anxious in the past, but not so much now. Okay, okay, okay. Big up to you. I mean, now listen. Attachment. I think it depends on how it shows up in the relationship. If it is detrimental, if it could ruin the relationship. But that's what we're going to talk about all week. It's going to be talking about attachment styles, and we're going to talk about each one of them each day. So I hope you all stay tuned for that. Um, but yeah, attachment styles, they're basically your nervous system blueprint in love. Okay. Thank you so much. It's yeah, so it's your nervous system's blueprint for love, right? A lot of the time it happens, I guess you could say, in our younger years, and it shows up, well, it develops in our younger years, but it shows up more so in our adult relationships. Okay. And if anybody wishes to come up to the panel, feel free. You can come up and we can talk about it. Um, the tappers, I don't know what happened to them. I thought I joined everybody. Oh, I didn't enjoy. I thought I joined him. I don't know what's going on. But yeah. Mm-mm. Okay. And again, I wish to thank everybody who's joined in on this live. Um, So attachment styles explains why love feels easy for some and it's stressful for others, okay? Because it can be stressful. And I think it usually tends to be stressful more for the ancient, the anxious. I said ancient, the anxious attachment styles. Hold on, I'm trying to keep track of everything. Your network slow? Okay, I understand. Thank you so much. Thank you for tapping up the live. But yeah, so if anybody want to come up and talk about it, I know Derek, you're pretty familiar with attachment styles. But which attachment style do you think you need? Well, I did ask that. So Derek, anxious. Um, so where do you think you fit in now? More secure, Frenchie, or avoidant, fearful, avoidant, or you just don't know? You're not sure. Hi, Tonero. Welcome in. Welcome in. I'm over here jamming to some music. Hawkeyes, welcome in. Thank you for sharing a lot. I appreciate it. I don't think avoid it. Okay, okay. All right. So attachment styles, yeah. They determine how you handle closeness, conflict, texting, space, and commitment. I gotta make this coffee that I'm coming. Okay, all right, get your coffee in. I feel you on that. I didn't get mine though. I feel you on that. I didn't get mine though. I feel you on that. Grand Rising Tonero. How are you, my friend? Thank you for the Go Populars. Appreciate it. And you laughing at me. Yeah, I mean, coffee is good. Coffee is good. Okay, so secure attachment is being comfortable with closeness plus independence, right? Anxious fears abandonment, craves reassurance, right? Good morning, Amy. How are you, my love? Thank you for joining. Avoidance, you have the dismissive one, which fears losing independence, but also craves space. Who is that? Who is that? I didn't see that. Of us aren't secure. Yeah, that's true. Most of us aren't secure. The most popular one seems to be the anxious avoidant. That's more known to a lot of people. But to be honest, some people don't know about this topic. I mentioned it last night and everybody got quiet, like, well, what's that? But see, this is why we need to know who we are. We need to know, ourselves and actually tap into some self-awareness. I am moving towards secure, but I am a fearful avoidant. Interesting. Thank you for posting, and thank you for being so open, Amy, and thank you to everybody for being so open, because I know that this topic can be a little exposing, you know. But I do want to share with you all, this is a safe space. Okay, I definitely try to keep it that way. Anxious and avoid and end up in relationships with each other a lot. Yeah, when I was doing my research on it, for sure, this is one of my favorite topics. It is. Well, welcome in, Amy. I'm so glad that you aren't afraid to tap into this topic. I think it's important. We need to know our attachment styles, how we show up in our relationships. It's important. And I know some people get tired of this relationship talk, but hey, relationships is going to happen until the end of the earth. So why not talk about it? Why not, continue to evolve? I like to hear more details to evaluate me. Okay, well, we're going to get into more details all week. We're going to talk about it. It's extremely important. That's right, Derek. It is. Knowing ourselves is crucial to healing. Yes, it is, Amy. It is. And also crucial to not affecting other people who come into our lives, right? Because not only can we show up for ourselves, we can show up for them better too, if we are aware of our attachment styles and how it may affect them. Okay. So yeah, back to the list. Avoidant fears losing independence and craves space. That is a detached, not detached, but dismissive avoidant, right? Okay. And a fearful avoidant wants love but fears it. So it's still avoidant. They just fear it more so than wanting their independence. These are patterns, not personality flaws. So we're nobody's saying anybody got any personality issues and things like that or character flaws. They call it character flaws, but it's more of a pattern. I don't think that you don't have to um, allow itself to attach itself to you in such a way that you take it on like, this is my personality, this is just who I am. It don't have to be that way. I desire to be married one day and want to be, wait, Frenchie says, I desire to be married one day and want to be the best woman and wife in dating to marriage. Okay. Yeah, big up to you. Especially getting married. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine if we don't fix ourselves and we have these certain attachment styles and we join into a marriage. That's literally like the rest of our life or a divorce. And no, I don't think anybody wants divorce. We weren't born this way. We were shaped into this. That's true, Amy. That's true. Thank you, San Antonio, for tapping in. And hey, Sims, thank you for touching down. And Savi, thank you. Thank you for Baby Heart Me, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Welcome in, everybody. So yeah, attachment styles. Do anybody coming in, do y'all know what attachment styles are? Or you have no clue? My tappers up here, y'all. Trying to tap the live to get me to 10K, which was almost at 10K. We're almost at 10K. Thank you guys so much. Almost at 10K. Appreciate it. You know, because people, let me shut up. Thank you so much. I'm just going to gift my tappers right quick, you guys. Bear with me as everybody is coming in. We are discussing attachment styles and relationship and how it is running your relationship. Do you have control over your relationships or is your attachment style leading it? Please share out the live. I appreciate it. Let's get more people in here. Thank you so much. Okay. So I was trying to make sure I didn't miss any comments, me sending them gifts like that. Our unhealed parts become secure. Just got to work at it every day. Yeah, that's true, Amy. I'm glad I did scroll the comments because I would have missed your comment, my love. Thank you for sharing out the live. So yeah, attachment styles explain why love feels easy for some, stressful for others. So I do have a question. Which attachment style do you think is more common? And I know virtuous one, thank you. Avoiding is the worst. Yeah. And if anybody is coming in, if you could tell me which one you think is more common. Virtuous one, what type of attachment style do you think you can identify with? Virtuous one. You think the anxious? Yeah. Yeah, Amy, anxious is. Virtuous one, which one do you identify with? Is it the anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, or secure? You're not sure. Yeah, yeah. Avoidance are the saddest, not the worst. Severe neglect in life. Yeah. They're and that's why I think I put up a post. I put up a post and I'm not an avoidant attachment, but I wasn't talking to just I was talking to everybody, but I want avoidant attachment style, people who are avoidants to know that you are worth being loved. And, I know it's hard sometimes. There's people out there that genuinely want to love you. And I know it's hard to open up to those people and allow people in your space. But you don't have to forfeit your love because of fear. Um, and you do have some people, some avoidant attachment styles that want to just be independent, you know. But if you find yourself in a relationship with someone, you can very well, someone that is secure, you can very well be dependent too. And I know Derek said that avoidant attachments and anxious attachments find themselves together in one way or another, right? And I would not say that's the ideal match. So I think avoidant attachments and secure attachment would probably be a better fit. What do you guys think? Or am I reaching? Am I reaching? Avoidant attachments and secure attachments would be a better fit. Virtuous one said, no, I'm not reaching. Mm-mm. Welcome in, always victorious. Hello. Hold on, I'm getting back to the comments. Secure
Morning,
is
good
best for
morning.
all. Good morning, Grand Rising. How are you? Mm-mm. Many avoidants don't know how to receive love. That is true. Thank you for the daily heart me. My husband is avoidant, moving towards secure. Okay. And you were one to say, so it took some self work for the both of y'all individually, right, Amy? Yeah. I think, I don't know if, like, for me, I was an anxious attachment, and I think that me having, okay, can I be transparent? Me having my heart broken one too many times has led me to being secure. Do that make sense? Or does it really depend on how much one person like another? Like, cause me, if I don't really like you like that, I don't care if you come, you go. I could care less. But does that play a factor into it? How much you you care for people? Now, me, I feel like I low key, y'all. I feel like I don't know. I'm all over the place. I feel like maybe I lean more to a avoidant. I think I'm more of a avoidant. Dang, that's crazy. Can an anxious attachment become an avoidant attachment? I need some help, y'all. Got me soul searching in here. For real. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm gonna get to these comments.
Morning.
Welcome in. Good morning, always. I'm gonna read these comments right quick, and then you can just hold your thought for a second. All right. I am many clients who fall under avoidant. Oh, you have many clients that fall under a lot of trauma there. Okay. This prompt is fact and one of the big reasons why most relationships fail. That is true, Ryan. Welcome in, by the way, Ryan. That communication has to be top notch between the anxious and the avoidant for the work. You think so, Derek? The communication, because oh, I ran into a avoidant one time, and it's like the anxious in me was pulling. It was more like a push and pull type of, and eventually I just was like, you can go to hell. Respectfully, anxious is the most likely to do the inner work. Okay. Yes, it does. Because thank you for reposting too. So yeah, we do understand that. Okay, I see you saying that your internet is slow, but please do not spam the chat. Okay, if you spam the chat, I will have to mute you due to the guarding and protecting components. Okay, but yeah, listen, people, anybody is free to come up to the panel. Let's talk about it because trying to read the comments is like a little hard. My husband just says I need 10 minutes on my island. It helps. It does. I know I'm living in my okay. So your wife is avoidant? I know so. I'm living in my marriage. All right. Let's get y'all up here. Okay, thank you so much. Crimson, I think I seen that you wanted to come up here. If you still want to come up here, you're free to come up. All right. Victorious?
Okay. So for me,
Yes.
or general, I think attachment styles it can influence patterns like how comfortable you are with closeness, how you handle
Mm-hmm.
conflict or distance, what you fear most about in relationship, whether abandonment or the loss of independence. But these things they don't control, they're more like a default setting, not a fixed script. You understand? So um recognizing the patterns where we can explain why we are drawn to certain people or react to certain situation, that awareness is powerful, and people can and do shift toward more secure, because me, I like secure attachment. You understand? Because when me know say you secure, when I know that you're secure, then me, I feel more strong in myself. Oh, I can trust this person, or I can be free with this person. But if I know that I am not secure, then I cannot be secure with you. You understand? But
Mm-hmm.
with secure attachment through awareness, self-awareness, it leads to a healthier relationship. And sometimes, a little therapy and all that. Um, some attachments can turn into labels, as you say, avoidant, um,
Mm-hmm.
or that's just how I am, or excuses for behavior. That is where it stops being helpful. You understand? But a better
Mm-hmm.
way to think about it is that attachment style might influence our instincts, but by our choices, our communication and growth, which determine our relationship.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this. And I'm not sure if you answered it. Which do you lean towards? A secure attachment, anxious attachment, or avoidant, or you're unsure?
Secure.
Secure. So you're more of a secure attachment. Okay. All right. Um, so with that being said, and I wanted to find out some more questions. Well, I have some more questions and get some more answers from you guys. But first, welcome Crimson and Derek. Thank you for coming to the panel. I appreciate you both. Crimson.
Yeah,
Yeah, hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. So you were speaking in the comments and you made a comment. Can you reiterate that for everybody listening in?
Um, I'm an avoidant, and my partner, my husband, he is anxious,
Mm-hmm.
and it does take a lot of communication. But I also strongly believe that that every single attachment style, if you're not careful, will ruin your relationship, because relationships are built on communication, and if you rely too much on your instincts and like your style instead of integrating both of your styles together, then it ruins and poisons the relationship.
Mm-hmm. All
But
right.
especially with avoidant and anxious, especially with me and my partner, I'm avoidant, and it's something I do work on, but I've never had a secure relationship ever in my life, like in any type of relationship, family wise, platonic wise, uh, relationship besides my partner. Me and my partner, we have a very secure relationship, which I am very thankful and grateful for. But it is something that is hard work. It's not something that you just go in the relationship and you're like, we're going to have this and that's just how it's going to go. No, it's a lot of communication. For me, it's hard for me to identify my emotions, identify what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and everything. So I have to communicate, baby, I love you. I'm not mad. I need time. I need a minute. I need time. So I can go collect myself, I can think and process through everything and be like, I will come back to you and I will talk to you when I am ready. I promise you. And sometimes
Mm-hmm.
he'll need like a timeline and I'll give him a timeline. Like, I need a couple days. And
Mm-hmm.
then I make sure that I am working on it. I'm figuring out what I'm feeling and stuff. I'm not just putting it on the back burner and going, nah, I don't want to deal with it right now, so I'm going to worry about it later. It's, I am dealing with this, I'm processing this, I am working on figuring out what I'm feeling, what's going on, what I'm thinking and stuff. And then I'm coming back to where I can come back calm and be like, hey, this is what was wrong. This is what I had an issue with. This is what I was upset about. This is why I reacted the way I reacted. I'm sorry. Especially if I wasn't able to communicate, hey, I need a minute, and I snap and I'm rude or something, then I apologize for that and go, I'm sorry I reacted that way. You didn't deserve that. I am working on it. These are the steps I'm taking to work on it. I'm not just sitting there going, I'm sorry that happened, it will happen again. No, it's this is the active steps I am taking in order to show you that I am working on it. I am putting in effort. I'm not just sitting there telling you BS. I am in
Mm-hmm.
therapy. This is what I'm working on. I'll sit there and give him updates. Like he'll ask me how was therapy, and I'll be like, "Oh, therapy was good. This is like this topic we discussed. Like I talked about like my trauma this day, or like I talked about a specific thing. I have anger issues. Sometimes we'll discuss my anger issues. Sometimes my paranoia is messing up. We'll talk about that. Sometimes I need to adjust my meds, and I'll give him little updates on what I'm actively working on, and I'll tell him, this is what I'm doing. These are the steps I'm taking. I'm not just sitting here like telling you, oh yeah, I'm doing this. I'm sitting there proving to it. It's work. You can't just sit there and go, oh yeah, and feed your partner lip service because you don't want to deal with it. You have to put in the work. Trauma sucks, yes. I haven't processed all of my trauma yet. I haven't even really scratched the surface too much. But I am in a healthy relationship because I'm working on the personal issues. I don't have to work on the trauma to work on the symptoms of the trauma. You can work on
Okay.
the symptoms and the issues you have without actually having to deal directly with the trauma,
Mm-hmm.
because you can sit there and realize, oh, this comes from my trauma. Okay. This is the specific point. This is exactly what caused it. Okay. And that's why I'm reacting. So I need to so it makes you realize and think, okay, I'm reacting because it's my trauma. Okay. So it makes you stop and think so you can sit there and break out of that pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Mm-hmm.
is a lot of work. And with an anxious partner, especially if you are avoidant, you can't just sit there and go, I need a minute. You have to reassure them. Reassurance is key, especially with an anxious partner. You have to reassure them, I'm not mad at you. I'm upset at the situation. I'm upset at the decision you made. I'm not upset at you. I still love you. I still care
Mm-hmm.
about you. Our relationship has not changed. None of my
Mm-hmm.
feelings about you have changed. I need a minute. It is strictly the situation. I still love you. I just
Mm-hmm.
need a minute. You can't just sit there and go, I need a minute. I'll get back to you when I'm ready to deal with it. You have to sit there and give that reassurance as well, because if you don't, then your partner is sitting there going, oh, they're mad at me. My partner's mad at me. They hate me. I ruined
Mm-hmm.
everything. They're gonna break up with me. I'm an awful person. Like I've ruined everything. And
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna poison your relationship, because then your partner's sitting there punishing themselves while you're sitting there
Mm-hmm.
just going, okay, I'm figuring out my emotions. So you need to really communicate. And I know a lot of
Right.
people say communication is key to a relationship, but you also have to know exactly what you need to communicate. People don't really explain that. They just go,
Come on.
communication is key. You need
Mm-hmm.
to know what you need to communicate. And
All
especially with
right.
anxious people and with anyone in general, you need that communication of, I still love you, our relationship is okay. I
Right.
am just upset.
So I have a question for you. I have
Yeah.
two questions. And one first and foremost, I have to say big up to you for
Man,
actually
that
going
let
to
me
the
tell you something real
therapy.
quick. Like literally 2 seconds, and then I'll that what Crimson just did. That was like 300 level college course information right there. Like y'all don't
Yes.
even understand how important that is for couples to maintain, or you will literally destroy each other.
Hmm.
Yep. Yep. Thank you so much. And yeah, I want to give you big up for, like for doing the work first and foremost, for being so open about it, right? And sharing it with us. And I do have a question. So how does that make you feel constantly having to reassure your anxious attachment?
For me, it's not an issue because I also have my insecurities, and you really have to understand that anxious attachment people, they have anxious attachment because of some trauma in their life as well. And
Mm-hmm.
it's really, they never had that reassurance of, oh, it's okay. They were always in a constant state of, they were policing other people's emotions, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was usually the adults in their life. They were trying to control the emotions and stuff and navigate that because the adults in their life were children.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, it's not annoying or anything because to me, it's something I would want as well because I also have my own insecurities of because I have trauma, so I have issues from that trauma. I have borderline personality disorder and I have bipolar too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of work as well. And he's very understanding of my mood swings and everything. But I also have to take a big part of recovery and stuff, and a big part of healing is you also have to take accountability for what you do. Yeah, I can understand that it's my disorder why I switch emotions and I can wind up getting loud and yelling, but it's not an excuse for me to sit there and yell and insult my partner and stuff. And I made it a rule
Mm-hmm.
with myself that I will never insult my partner. Insulting does not come into the game at all. It is, I am mad at you, I am upset, and stuff like that. It is never, I hate you, you did this, I don't want to see you again, I'm gonna leave. No, that's off the table. That doesn't even come into my mind. And he's really good at, after I have an episode and reassuring me, you didn't mess up, baby. I still love you. I don't hate you. I
Mm-hmm.
understand. I'm not going to leave because I have big abandonment insecurities. And he gives me that reassurance, and he also deserves that same reassurance. He doesn't seem
Right.
finding annoying or a burden for me to have those insecurities. And to me, it's not a burden on me for him to have his. Everyone
Mm-hmm.
has their insecurities, and you shouldn't be
Right.
ashamed of your insecurities. You
Right. Right.
you should embrace your insecurities along with your partner. And yeah, you need to work on them and make sure they're not an issue, but those insecurities aren't ever really going to go away. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
something that's really permanent. You just have to sit there and control how you react to those feelings and those insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
And you can,
Mm-hmm.
it's completely acceptable to go, baby, I'm feeling a little insecure right now. I need some reassurance for this specific thing. Like, baby, I feel like you're gonna leave because I messed up and I've been a little more mean lately because I've been manic. And then he'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's okay, baby. Like, I understand where you're coming from and know what you did wasn't okay, but I can see that you're working through it. And that's a
Right.
lot of issues too. You can't sit there and tell your partner it's okay when they hurt you when it's not okay. You can say,
Right.
I understand where you're coming from. I understand what happened and know what you did wasn't okay, but we are
Mm-hmm.
okay. And I forgive you and I can see what you are doing to fix the issue. And you can give that encouragement, but you can't sit there and say something's okay when it's not, because when you do that, that says you're allowing that behavior and that behavior is acceptable. And
Exactly.
you cannot allow behavior that's going to be toxic and damage your relationship because eventually you're going to build resentment off of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That I love you.
Thank you. I've done a lot of work. Because
It
again, I have
sounds
a lot of
like it.
issues. And if I don't work on my issues and control my issues, then I'm a really toxic person. And I have been that really toxic person. I have been that crappy person where I've hurt people on purpose because I enjoyed seeing them hurt. And I've
Oh,
sit there and like damaged relationships and purposely hurt people and stuff because of revenge, because I felt slighted and stuff. I don't want to be
yeah.
that person. So I put in that work because I know it is very easy for me to shut off my emotions for those
Hmm.
negative emotions of hate and gratification of seeing someone
Right.
emotionally hurt because I feel like they hurt me and I was slighted. And I know I have to sit there and be conscious of no, people aren't out to hurt you. Sometimes there's
You got to talk to yourself,
misunderstandings.
right? You got to talk
Yep,
to
and
yourself,
that's how you
right?
damage your relationships as well. You sit there and you go off of assumptions, right? And that's happened a lot
Hmm.
in my relationship. I went off an assumption, but instead of sitting there going off of it, I paused and went, "Hey baby, can you explain what you meant by that?" And a
Hmm.
lot of the times some things mean something different to him than it does to me because he's born up here in Michigan. I was born in Kansas.
Hmm.
Okay. So a lot of the times it's a culture difference.
That too. Yeah, yeah. And I do want to applaud you. You gave a lot of information. And I honestly hope that you return later on this week because each day this week we'll be talking about the different attachment types, right? Um, and one of them is secure attachment. The other is anxious attachment, avoidant, but it's more of a dismissive avoidant. And the last one is fearful attachment. So those are the four that during my research I was able to look up. I don't know if there's any more, but those were the four that I found. Okay. Crimson, right quick. Which do you identify with as an avoidant? Is it the fearful or just the dismissive?
I feel like it's a little bit of both
Okay.
because I'm one who I really bottle up my emotions and I push things down because I don't want to deal with it. Emotions and stuff make me uncomfortable. And when I'm
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable, I don't want to deal with something. I want out of the situation. I want to escape. And
Mm-hmm.
then some other stuff, it's fearful. Like I'm terrified I'm going to be abandoned and stuff. So it's a mixture of both because I just have a lot of compact trauma.
Okay. Okay. Well, I hope you can work through it all. I really do, and I'm sure a lot of us appreciate you giving us some insight on the avoidant on both sides, actually on both sides, because you touched on both sides, sharing your story, your personal testimony with us. I appreciate you for it. And if you want to stick around, feel free to stick around if you would like to chime in. And I'm not sure if anybody in the questions, and I'm not in the questions, in the comments have any questions for you. But you guys, you can feel free to leave a question for Crimson if you like.
Yeah, I'll
I
stick
was
around. I have nothing to do for the rest of the day until I work tonight. So
okay. Okay. All right. Same here. Thank you so much. Um, okay. So Amy said it's called protest behaviors. What is called protest behaviors, Amy? And Virtuous one said I was with someone that and that I was with someone like that, and it's not easy at all. You was with someone who was avoidant virtuous. Yeah, I've met one myself, and it was not fun. Um,
Hi, love.
Derek, hi, Amy. 1 second. Thank you for joining the panel to um to give us more insight on what you were saying. But right quick, because Derek is a busy guy. I want to see Derek. You have anything you want to touch on?
I always have something. I
Of
always
course
have
you
something.
do.
So first of all, Crimson, thank you, and thank you, because this is something what Crimson just described, right? And Amy as well in the comments. It
Hmm.
takes a while for you to get to the point where you even understand what the hell is going on, and once you do, you
Hmm.
realize that most people on the planet Earth don't even get this. And then you start looking at how a lot of relationships sometimes fail, and both people are genuinely good people, but they destroy each other. It starts here a lot of times. And what Crimson was describing, a lot of times especially when, and most of us do have wounds or trauma, it's really just two little inner children fighting at the playground, and we trying to figure it out, and it's really like sometimes things hurt that didn't have the intention of hurt, but we perceive it that way through our own filters, and then it becomes a thing. And that's why I was saying a lot of anxious and avoidance get in relationships with each other, and they'll be genuinely great people, but those misunderstandings and those trauma filters between our ears and how we feel, we'll see them as an enemy combatant. And it's not even intended to be that way. And a lot of times when you're dealing with someone who doesn't necessarily voice their hurts or their concerns, they'll just hold it in and they'll just keep taking it. And you'll see that person as the enemy. And the enemy doesn't, in this case, doesn't even know that they've made the offense. Because you keep hide, like a lot of us just kind of like tuck ourselves and hide and shrink and resent, right? And so this is and coupled with just the awareness and understanding of your traumas and your issues that created the attachment style, this will change the course of your life and your relationship simultaneously if you are able to understand this. And it doesn't mean perfect. Like I track more anxious. I would say that I'm mostly secure, but the anxious attachment flares up when conflict happens. Like that little boy be like, wait, what did you say? Wait, did you say the word never? I never loved you? Wait. And I'd be like, whoa. And that the conflict, and for me, criticism is a big trigger for me. I want to solve it now for myself, right? My anxious is like, please, let's talk about it now. Let's talk about it now so it can go away. That's for me. My avoidant wife says, I need some time to process this before I come back. And what Crimson was describing is exactly how it works for a lot of us, where I don't want you to have that time. I'm going to follow you to wherever you're going so that I can get my needs met so I can calm down. But I'm not concerned with you your way of calming down. And that's why a lot of times, if the relationship is to be had and it should be healthier, you got to be able to do exactly what Crimson said. Hey, I'm not leaving you. I just go in the process. If you don't do that, we don't hear it. We're like, you leaving to the other room, our nervous system thinks you're leaving me, the person. So I have to chase you to make sure it doesn't happen. It's weird, but we understand how it works now. But imagine, well, a lot of you don't have to imagine, but imagine having your nervous system do that every time that something happens, and that's your life. Eventually, you're going to be like, yo, like you're going to have so much angst and animosity against your person. Now you can't even really have regular conversations without thinking about it. It's a lot, but it can be regulated, and you can have a prosperous relationship. But just know, like, and I'll say this real quick and then I'll land. For people who are not aware of the attachment styles, think of it like this, right? In communication, we know what introverts are and we know what extroverts are, right? Even without you knowing all the attachment styles, this is just how the communication needs to work. The introvert needs time to recharge, right? The extrovert just kind of is a open, free person normally, right? But when you put those two together in a relationship, the extrovert may not understand that the introvert needs that time. They may think they're disinterested or whatever, and the introvert's like, no, wait, I just need this for me. I need this alone time, or I need this whatever, and they will clash without the communication. And a lot of times the solution is, hey, introvert, you had your recharge time. Meet me in the middle. Let's go hang out and do something, and then they're more able to do it. But if you say, why are you over there taking that time and you're not spending time with me, now we got a problem. So I land my plane.
Thanks, Derek. And before you land, I have a question. So, all right, well, I have two. One, it kind of feels like when the avoidant needs that time, it feels like they're putting the anxious person in a corner. Does it feel that way? Like you in time
like,
out?
let me tell you something. My nervous system goes crazy. Like you trying to figure it out, and you over there shaking. Like, what does this mean? You got all of these conversations going on in your head, and the other person is like, I just need to just give me a minute. And you know,
Right.
Even though my wife told me this a million times, I still did not digest it until I did more research and realized that a lot of people who who detach and like are avoided, when they do that separation piece, it's physiological things that are happening within their body that are flaring up that need to calm down too. Once I saw that, I realized when she said, "When you keep chasing me, it's making it worse." It still didn't resonate with me until I realized that there were things going on in her body too that were being triggered by me chasing her.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that
If I could cut
interesting?
in here real quick to play
Sure.
off that, that's where the reassurance comes in for the anxious person. That's why you can't sit there and just go, I need a minute. I need to regulate myself. You have to sit there and give your anxious partner reassurance because, like he just described, it's literal hell for them. They're sitting there in constant distress while you're sitting there trying to calm down and you're calming down, but they're not getting any relief at all. So you need to give them that reassurance of, I still love you. I'm upset, yes, but our relationship's still okay. My feelings towards you has not changed. We are good. And you really need to look at stuff like that as in, it's not you versus your partner versus the problem. It is you both versus the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't understand what the other needs and play off of your other's needs, because if you understand your partner's needs, right, you don't need
Mm-hmm.
to understand what the attachment styles are. You don't need to understand like which attachment style you are or they are or anything. If you listen to what they need, and they'll usually tell you what they need. Hey, I need a minute to calm down. Or, hey, you sitting there doing that. I'm still stressed and stuff. I need to know we're okay. You're not telling me anything. You're just walking away. So
Mm-hmm.
that communicates, I need that reassurance. The other person's communicating, hey, I need a minute. So if you pay attention and learn your partner, which you should be doing in a relationship, you
Come on.
understand what they need from you, especially in situations of conflict. And that is what you
Right.
need to keep in the back of your mind. Oh, when, especially after conflicts, you guys need to have a conversation and talk. What went wrong? What happened? What both of you could do better. You guys need to have that conversation of, when you did this, this upset me. When you said this specific phrase triggered me. Can we say it a different way? Or,
Mm-hmm.
hey, your tone changed a little bit here. What happened? Were you upset? Were you mad? Did I upset you? And usually they didn't realize their tone changed or something like that. You need to have that communication of going through and talking about the fight you guys had, the conflict, and go through and sit there in every point and talk about it and discuss what went wrong, what you did, what you could do better, and not just
Mm-hmm.
what your partner can do, what your partner did wrong. You need to go through and look at what you did wrong and point out stuff you did wrong as well. It's not
That's
you
true.
versus them, it is you both versus your
That's
problem. You
problem.
need to
Right.
keep
Right.
that in mind.
Right. And right quick, I wanted to say, everybody for so long thought it was introvert, extrovert. What is it? Introvert and extrovert. We've been hearing that for a long time. I'm an introvert. I'm an extrovert. You know what I'm saying? But it makes me wonder: is that associated with being could those be? They're not the same, but could that be connected to some of what we're talking about as well? But
I feel like
I'm
it
not
could
really sure.
because that's also connected into personalities. And people have to understand, right? When you look at this from a psychological standpoint, right? Everything in your life that's happened in your childhood up until this point, this day, this time in your life has affected your personality. It has rewired something in your brain. You can sit there and look at a lot of things and behaviors, especially behaviors that you exhibit, and if you sit there and trace it by feeling, because anger is a secondary emotion. So when you feel angry or irritated or anything, it's because of a different emotion. You're sad, you're upset, you're hurt, you feel slighted, you're insulted, something like that,
Right.
right?
Offended. Yeah.
Exactly. And then you can trace those emotions to the point of, why am I reacting like this to this? And usually you can sit there and trace it to a lot of points in your life
I
of,
chose.
oh, when I communicated this emotion, usually I got shut down. I got insulted. Okay. Usually when I communicated, I felt this way, something bad happened, right? So then you
Mhm.
connect that to that emotion. So now when you feel that emotion, you feel shame or you feel angry or something because it's a negative emotion to you because you were punished for it.
Right,
So you
right.
can trace it to those instances in your past, so you can realize usually um I have this behavior because I was treated like this when this happened. And this behavior leads to this behavior, which leads to this one.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much. Yay. Bless that, Angela. Welcome in. Thank you. Thank you so much, Crimson. And Chosen, welcome in. Big hearts to you. Thank you for everybody coming in. Come on in. Pull up a chair. Because we learning some things in here. And Crimson is dropping some jewels, some knowledge. Derek is sharing some valuable information between the avoidant and the anxious attachment style, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Amy, hi, darling.
Hello, lovely.
Wow,
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you? Thank you
I'm
for joining me.
wonderful. So, I wanted to touch on what Crimson was talking about with the protest behaviors.
Oh, okay.
If you go into attachment theory in general, anxious tends to have the most protest behaviors. So, an example would be like Crimson was saying, communication is important because if you don't communicate with your anxious partner, like, hey, I need a minute, what
Mm,
happens is the anxious partner is hurt. And so they will go into what's called protest behaviors. So you will literally self sabotage and protest their behavior and think, oh, they're out to get me. So now I have to hurt them back. And your protests are always, well, you did this and you did that. And it's always you statements. And those come off as very large jabs to typically your avoidant partner. You. Instead of self reflection, I need to change
yeah,
this or that, or I'm feeling this way. It's
yeah,
you know.
yeah. That's me. I go into the protesting,
Yeah,
and
prime
yeah,
example is like
I
text
will.
messages. Like your partner will be busy. As an anxious person, you don't think, oh, they're busy. You think, well, they haven't responded in 10 minutes. They must be cheating. This must be going on. And you go into this deep spiral, and it's very dangerous for your mind instead
Yes,
of,
yes.
you must be busy. We'll talk later. But as a fearful, because I lean more fearful avoidant, but I have anxious tendencies. It's very hard to navigate for me because it's a very big push pull for me. So I can be really anxious in one moment and also very avoidant the next.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad, it stems from our childhood and all of our traumas. It can be a relationship that you had as an adult, but typically it stems from childhood for all of us. Um,
Okay.
I had one parent that was very secure and very attentive. And then I had another parent that was very, not secure. We can't use the A word, but so I had a lot of fear in childhood. I didn't know how she was going to react to certain things, and it could be simple things. So growing up, I never felt secure in my home because you never knew what was coming. Because one minute she would be super nice, and then the next I was getting hit with things, or, I had a lot of SA in my life and things. We all have trauma, like Crimson was saying, it's trauma based. And knowing and communicating that with your partner is unbelievably helpful because you can look at it as it's not you treating me this way. It is your trauma coming up and you are just triggered right now and you're reliving that trauma moment because of something that was said or something that was done
Yeah.
to you in your past. So my husband leans avoidant, and I look at avoidant as the saddest to me because he experienced so much neglect as a child to where he doesn't even understand his emotions because he was taught that emotions are bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, So he struggles a lot with communicating how he feels. And that's like Crimson was saying, they need that time to process. And we made a name for it. So he'll say, I need Isolation Island for like, we'll put a time on it. He'll say 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the anxious in me is like, okay, it's been 30 minutes. And he's like, I think I need 10 more, but we communicate that need and it helps us come back to it later and then we can talk it through. And knowing what you have, like those parts of you, because I don't say it's me. It's parts of me. It's unhealed parts of me. We all have unhealed parts, but it's not who we are as a person, but knowing that those unhealed parts are what's coming up helps, because it's like, this is not my husband or this is not me. These are just unhealed parts that are coming out in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It does. And that's why I made it clear when I first started the live to say, some people, I heard Crimson say earlier it's personality, but during my research, I found out that it's not personality, it's more of a pattern.
Yes.
So just because it's you may think it's your personality, but no, it's just a pattern of something that you have developed over time that now this is what you do. And it's now become routine more so than
Right.
anything.
It is your nervous system reacting to
Right.
a trigger.
Exactly. So it's not a personality, it's your nervous system reacting. Yes. Thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you, love.
And also I want to give a big shout out to Chosen, my first super fan. Yay! Thank you so much, Chosen. I appreciate it. So, but Chosen, you have something that you want to contribute? I know she said I couldn't.
Yeah, I was looking at the topic, and I think some of us, we can't even explore an attachment style because some of us we've ended up with some people that, after getting a certain distance in the relationship, we start detaching ourselves, because we get to realize that what we got was a camouflage of what we were looking for, and we begin to live in the halls of regret. And then instead of really an attachment style that is supposed to make us be a little bit more grounded or be happier or so on, is that we become burdened by what we're in and we're seeking a way to get out of it. So I think for me, that's how I look at it, because this is something I've seen actually, in my not in my present household, but with my parents. I saw that coming out, and I know that it can be quite problematic. It can be very heavy for the other. It can be very heavy for both people, and it does bring ruin. But I don't know if I can say it's a love life. It's a life that's been lived, but the love has long gone from it. And then it's just conversation. It's just like a roommate situation going on. So I don't think every person, will get a chance to experience this, because truth be told, some relationships, it's just convenience, it's just commitment, maybe to children or to other factors like business, but it's not to love, it's not to the growth or development or a fixing of the relationship. It's more just a maintenance, because hey, we are here already. There's so much at stake. If we pull apart now, there's so much to lose, and that's no way of living, really.
Yeah, that is true. And this is why we were having this conversation, because no, it seems like when people get into, we call them situationships, it's hard for them to identify like what's really going on here.
Yeah.
and more so, it's not when we talk about attachment style, it's
Yeah.
not more so the relationship per se. It's what each individual person is experiencing inside the relationship
Yeah.
because of maybe some past traumas or disappointments and things of that nature. Me, I know my attachment style came a lot from disappointments. So my anxious attachment, yeah, like, and I think that was a lot of what you were touching on too, is that we get involved with certain individuals
Yeah.
that can um, cause or contribute
Yeah.
to this, the issue
Yeah.
that you have going on with you. But as Amy said earlier, most times it happens in your younger years as
Yes. That's
children.
it. Yeah.
hmm but it also can develop in adult years. It's not as frequent or highly likely as an adult that
Yeah.
it develops. It's more in the younger years.
So, Miss Carol, I have a question to ask, probably to Derek, or if Crimson can answer the question.
Sure.
Is it a case where we've been through the trauma, right? And we go through, is it a case where we cannot get over it? We hold on to the trauma, so we continue to bring it into our past, really, or present relationship, or if we bring it among our family members. Is it a case where we cannot let go of that trauma?
Derek or Crimson?
I'll let
What was the
Crimson go.
question?
Okay, so
Like,
I
can
don't
you
think that.
rephrase that question? Like, I heard it, but like, I'm not understanding the question. There's like too many words, a little bit.
Okay. So I'm asking, the traumas that you guys are talking about, is it a case where we cannot move away from the trauma? We can't overlook the trauma and say, hey, it is what it is, and just move along. Why do we still have to carry the trauma along into our present relationship? And then we make it an excuse to hurt the person who we are involved with.
Okay, so let
Okay,
me.
I gotcha.
Did
I
you get?
gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, I gotcha. So the answer to that question is simply you don't just snap and heal from trauma. Trauma takes years of healing, especially when you have people like me and it sounds like Amy that have very complex trauma that is multiple instances over multiple years that are a ton of different traumas, not just one or two types, but like across the vast spectrum of traumas to where it takes years to unpack that. And I've come to terms with the fact that stuff that happened to me, the traumas that happened to me weren't my fault. But I haven't worked through the fact that how my parent and people who were adults and parental figures in my life could look at me as a child and go, yeah, I'm going to do the vile and disgusting, violent things to this child. I
hmm
haven't come to terms of how my parent could look at me and do some of the things they did and that they did
Okay.
laughing. So it's
Okay.
just a lot of healing, and it's just not something you go, oh yeah, I'm over it. You have to sit there and go through all the trauma and unpack it and go, okay, this happened. And yeah, you got to go through those intense, complex emotions of all the stuff my father did to me. I still
Yeah.
love the man. And that's complex because
Yeah.
I also hate him. And
Yeah.
if he was here right now, I would fist fight the man. Okay?
Ooh. No, we love TikTok shop. Yes, we
Yup.
do.
I realize I'm
we gotta
sorry.
be, yeah, we gotta be careful.
My bad.
Oh, I
But you
got
have those
some.
complex emotions
Yeah.
and feelings to where you have to work through that because how can I hate and love someone at the same time, knowing the stuff that they did?
Well, and
Yeah.
knowing that there's big T traumas and little T traumas.
hmm
Big
Exactly.
T traumas are very complex, and it takes, like Crimson said, years of work to move through it, not even past it, just through it,
hmm
because there's a lot of blame involved, and we'll never understand why.
Right, and
You
you also
know,
got to come to terms with a lot of your family relationships are done, are completely gone because of these people in your life. Not even because of stuff you did, but because
Hmm.
these
correct.
people in your life destroyed your relationships with these
Yeah.
people. So you also have that trauma of abandonment and stuff from family because a lot of families, they'll choose the A word over the victim
Yeah.
Yes.
no matter
Yeah.
what it is. They won't believe it. Um, I got disowned from my sister not even like 6 months ago because my older brother started crap because he was snooping on my TikTok under an account I didn't know he had and started stuff because I was talking about some of the trauma I went through.
Oh, and he
And she chose
exposed
them
it.
over me because apparently I was starting stuff from talking about my
Yeah.
story that didn't even involve them.
Yeah.
But I
You
was talking
know,
bad on the family. So I was starting stuff. I was causing drama. So I needed to be cut off, you know?
And
well,
So,
then
I'm
we
gonna
should
say
be
this.
friends.
I'm going to say
100%
this
follow
to
me.
you. I'm going to say this to you. Never allow anybody to make you feel horrible for telling your story, for telling your truth. Because at the end of the day, what we go through and when we share it, when we find the courage to share it, it is our testimony to say that this is what I've been through and I've overcame it. This is me now. And I think always victorious. I think I think where she's trying to understand is it does take work. And a person, let me say this, a person should not, I guess you could say, forsake love or forsake happiness or forsake what everybody else, is out here able to enjoy, a loving relationship because of their past traumas. A lot of traumas that people go through isn't their fault. It really isn't their fault, you know. So I commend you guys. Thank you for sharing again, because you don't have to, and I appreciate you for feeling comfortable enough to share it with us. Right quick, I have to move forward. Derek.
Yes, I wanted to address always Victoria's question
Okay.
um, from a lens of someone who helps people with this, and I primarily deal with little T trauma. By the way, the big T is above me because there's a lot of spaces where sometimes the person that helps could probably cause more harm if you don't handle it with care.
Uh-huh.
But to give a little bit more context to what she was asking, the person who would take whatever this trauma is and then kind of spill it over into a new relationship, and I think the question was kind of like, how do we stop ourselves from doing it so we don't hurt other people or something like that, right? So here's the thing: a lot of people are aware how they behave, but they don't connect it to it being a wound or trauma. They just say this is who I am, and you just got to deal with me like this, and it's not about removing it because it's a part of your life history. It's more about regulating it and identifying it. So when you move forward, that it's not front facing. You can identify when things happen, and you can say, "Oh my God, let me let me center myself before I spill it over onto the person." That's the healing journey. It's not about removing it. It's a part of your history. It's always going to be inside your body, inside your mind, and you have to learn how to identify it, make the assessments like what Crimson and Amy was talking about, and you're going to have to learn how to regulate it and understand it when it gets triggered, what it means, as opposed to looking at the other person and saying it's their fault. And so it's really a lesson in identification of it, because a lot of us, that's why they call it shadow work. A lot of it's subconscious. You don't even realize that that's where it came from. It took me a long time to realize that most of my behaviors, especially in relationships, was from my parents, right? And just today, I just realized on your show, because I know that I'm anxious and I knew that it came from my parents being emotionally unavailable, but I had two avoidant parents together that created an anxious that was hungry and greedy for the emotional attachment that I didn't get from them. And then that informed my anxious attachment of seeking primarily emotional attachment from the people that I would date. But like like a hungry lion, not like, oh, I want you to hug me. It was like, no, I need 10,000 hugs in order for me to feel safe. And
Yeah.
it took me a long time to realize what that was. But today I realize, now that we're talking about, and I teach attachment classes, so I should know this, right? But both of my parents were avoidant. I always looked at healing myself in looking at my anxious attachment, but I didn't realize until today that they were both avoidant. Go figure, two avoidants together.
Yes.
So that's what I grew up with. They were present,
Wow.
but the emotional stuff, never. I'm getting it now that my dad's passed on, but my mom and dad didn't really start showing any type of affection or hugs until I was probably over 40. I didn't hear "I love you" until I was over 40 for the first time, or even hugs. And I was
Wow.
just, so now when I go to my mom's house, she won't let me leave without a hug, and it just feels weird. Like, what is this? But I'm taking them all, but it doesn't feel natural because I've never known her to be that way.
Derek,
Mhm.
yes. When my mom hugged
Wow.
me for the first time, I was like, what is this?
Wow. Listen, and you know what? Because I think over time, once a lot of other things are moved out the way over time, and we grow in our adulthood and continue to grow, I think that we start to realize that, hey, I am this way. Let me change it. Maybe your mom recognized, like, I never even told my son I love him. I never even gave my son a
Yeah.
hug.
Oh,
So,
and
and it
yeah,
takes time.
and whoever said the thing about the parent, who I can't remember who it was, but about the family members, listen, I think it was Crimson, listening to them online. Let me tell you something. When I started talking about this whole parents being emotionally unavailable and all that, my mom listened to something on YouTube that I did, and she was like, "Derek, why would you say that?" And I was like, "Mom, think about it." And she was like, "You know what? Yeah, we were those people." It took her
Hmm.
a minute to that. You know, those boomers, they don't want to talk about nothing real serious. So she was
Right.
like, she felt embarrassed at first, but I was like, Mom, this is our reality. I have to, in order for me to help the people I'm helping, they got to understand that I'm just like them. Like I went through stuff too, and I'll land here, and then and then you can pack me up.
Okay.
A
Thank
lot
you
of,
so much. Oh, you're not
no,
done.
no,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I got one more statement, and then you can pack me up. So,
Okay.
so a lot of us, this is what we have to realize, right? When we use the words trauma, wounds, childhood wounds, people automatically think about what Amy described as big T trauma as being the only type of wounding. And so they don't associate themselves having any kind of wounds because they think it's like the big, egregious stuff. And a lot of times, in my case, just having an emotionally unavailable parent was enough to cause a wound. And that wound also has to be addressed as a serious thing because it shows up in our relationships. Like, we may not necessarily know what attachment style we have, but we know what the behavior looks like. We definitely know what an avoidant looks like if you're anxious. And the reason why anxious and avoidance mostly always end up together is because the anxious needs something to chase, right? If you pull away, it's going to trigger me to chase and want to grab onto you to make sure you stay. So
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense that we always find each other. It's just how we commingle with each other long term. That's really the hard part because you're going to consistently get triggered almost every conflict. So if you don't work on fixing it and having that better communication, yeah, you're gonna be pissed off every day. And then what ends up happening is when I stack up enough of that resentment, I'm gonna have to find a way to cope with it. And it's not gonna be through you. I land.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Hey, Derek, I know you love these topics. I know you love these topics. And all this week, we're going to be touching on these topics. This is just the beginning. This is us describing what the attachment styles are. And each day, we're going to get a little bit deeper into each attachment style, the differences between the two. So I hope that you do return this week so we can go ahead and crush this thing. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I did have other questions, it's supposed to be related to relationship wise. Oh, yes, I'll drop you. Thank you, Derek. So for the people in the chat, and unfortunately, I was tuning my ears into the conversation. I have an anxious, preoccupied attachment style. Okay. Okay. Thank you. And I was going to ask everybody in the comments, okay, when it comes to your attachment style, right? Are you anxious? Are you secure? Are you avoidant? Or you're unsure? And if you can drop it down in the comments, we're going to have a moment of transparency, and there's no need to feel ashamed or anything like that. This is a positive, very welcoming space. So your attachment, Tasha, your attachment style's avoidant. Okay. All right. So mine is anxious. And I think it kind of turned into avoidant. That's interesting.
Avoidant.
You're avoidant. Okay. Okay. And because we're going to get to know each other. We're all going to get to know each other. That's how I know. Okay. Who else? And if you don't feel comfortable, or if you're unsure, just put unsure. If you're unsure, put unsure. So, and I wanted to break down some of the attachment styles right quick. Hold on one second. So, where is it at? Oh my Lord. Where'd it go? Hold on one second. I think oh, here it go. I'm like, where did it go? So a secure attachment style is being comfortable with closeness and independence, right? Anxious if attachment style fears abandonment and craves reassurance. Okay. Avoidant fears losing independence and craves space. And fearful avoidant wants love but fears it. Found out all this after I got divorced. Okay. So those are the 4 separate types of attachment styles that I was able to do my research on. Okay. And attachment styles explains why love feels easy for some and stressful for others. And it shows up in our relationships. We're not aware that this is what's going on with us. But a lot of the times, if we take time to do some self-assessment, you know what I mean? Like really look at how we actively engage with our partners. You will definitely be able to see some of the signs. So speaking of signs, early dating behaviors that reveal the attachment style. Anxious signs is fast texting. Like you gotta get your answers. You need it now. You want consistency early. You want consistency, like you have to do this all the time for me to feel secure. Okay. And they overthink mixed signals. They don't understand. So for instance, if Crimson wants to back away and needs some time, just some me time to think or whatever, a anxious attachment will automatically go into, what did I do wrong? Did I say something wrong? Or I should have did this, or I should have did that. Maybe if I would have did this differently, they wouldn't want he would want to be around. That's signs of anxious attachment. I know because I do that. What did I do wrong? Avoidance signs is slow texting. They're slow to text. They ain't just mediocre. I guess I call it mediocre. Needs lots of space and hesitant about labels. And they feel uncomfortable. They don't want to get too close. I mean, they want it, but they don't want it. They want it, but they're afraid for, their reasons or traumas to get close. Secure signs is consistent communication. They have clear intentions and they're calm in conflict handling. Okay. So the which one texts back the fastest? Would that be the secure? Because secure has steady communication. Or would that be the anxious? We all know avoidance not going to text you back fast. The anxious, okay, Victoria. So anyway, I want to keep moving because I'm aware people got work. But attachment styles matter in modern dating. Ghosting, that's avoiding behavior, things of that nature. Attachment clashes, which causes situationships. I like you, but I don't like you enough to want to be up under you all day long, which obviously the anxious attachment needs, you know, to feel secure and strong, like strong, whatever. I don't want to say stronghold, but feel locked in. So anyway, who falls fast? What type of person falls fast? What attachment styles fall fast? Who needs the space? Who hates mixed signals? Who loves reassurance? These are all questions I'm not going to have you all answer. But at the end of the day, attachment styles a lot of the times show up in our relationships. We need to do the inner work to find out why these things happen and give yourself some grace. Give your partner some grace. I think that's big, Crimson, right?
Yep, you have to remember it's you and your partner versus the problem, not you versus your partner versus the problem. So y'all versus the problem. You
Y'all
guys have
versus
to
me.
remember to communicate. Don't assume stuff. If you assume stuff, then resentment builds, crap like that, and then it explodes and it poisons your relationship. Don't do that. You guys need to talk about stuff. If you are feeling upset about something, you need to talk about it, bring it up, be like, "Hey babe, I'm not mad or anything, but when you said this, it kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, and I just need a little reassurance that you still love me," or stuff like that. Like, make sure you're communicating, "Hey, that phrase specifically triggered me. Can we reword that?" Or, "Hey, when you said this and you like dismissed my feeling, when you like kind of dismissed what I was saying, I felt like you didn't really care about my thoughts and opinions on the matter, and that kind of hurt my feelings." And
Right.
then they could sit there and tell you what they meant and what they were trying to do. A lot of the times I overthink and I assume stuff. I'm like, "Oh my god, my partner's like mad at me or he's upset.
Hmm.
Like I made him mad." And then all I have to do, or like I'll think he's purposely being mean for no reason. And I'll be like, "Hey baby, when you said that kind of hurt my feelings. You kind of seemed mad. Are you mad at me?" And he'll just be like, "No baby, I'm not mad at you at all. Why would you think that?" And then I'll explain, "Well, your tone kind of shifted, or like you said this."
Thank you,
And then he'll
Victorious.
explain, "Oh no baby, I didn't even realize that happened."
Hmm. Hmm. Thank you so much. And I do want to share this with you guys. I personally, I feel like again, I'm an anxious attachment. I think I became avoidant, and I don't know how that happened. And hopefully I can figure it out sometime this week during these conversations. I think he's more of an anxious attachment. So now that he's an anxious attachment, I think that's probably why I became avoidant. I don't know, but we gonna figure it out. Also, so the next episode we're going to dive into the ancient attachment. Speaking of that, we're going to dive into the ancient attachment, the most misunderstood, most emotional attachment style. So, and we're going to talk about reassurance and overthinking and all that good stuff, the fear of being left and whatnot. So, I just ask everybody to follow the lives, okay? This week specifically, follow the lives because we're definitely going to dive into this, and you don't want to miss part two, okay? So you don't just date people, you guys. You don't just date people. You date the attachment style. So when choosing your partner, ask, like, what is your attachment style? And if they don't know, educate one another, okay? Educate one another. Explain it. You see what I'm saying? So one, you will help them identify their attachment style. And two, you will know what you're getting yourself into and you won't be walking in blind. Okay. And then look like, what's going on? Be aware. Attachment styles most definitely intermingle with each other. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. So I turned into avoiding by not wanting to deal with the problems and waiting until the pressure happens. Oh, okay. So you turned into avoidant. Yeah. And it's so Tasha, I mean, you say you turned into avoidant. So what was your attachment style before then? I'm curious. I'm curious to know. Because Crimson, is that possible to turn into, be? Oh, see, she said I was
You like
anxious.
you like cut out. Can you repeat what you said?
I was asking Natasha, I was asking her because she said she's avoidant at this point. And I was asking her, well, what was her attachment style before then? Just like myself, she said anxious.
Oh yeah, I can definitely explain that. It's kind of simple to understand because when you look at it, like especially when you're dealing with an anxious attachment, a lot of stuff can get very overwhelming. A lot of their behaviors, especially if y'all aren't realizing what each other needs, and
Mm-hmm.
especially when because sometimes it happens where you'll get overwhelmed with your own personal feelings and your own point of view, and you won't realize you're not thinking about also your partner's point of view. And then a lot of the times that means where one partner will be getting more emotionally supported and being able to more quote unquote kind of like act out more emotionally than the other one because the other one feels like, oh, they have to like be there for their partner and take on and like be that support their partner needs.
Mm-hmm.
And then that puts a lot of drain on that partner. And then if they don't like catch on to that and speak up in time and be like, hey baby, okay, this seems like it's a recurring issue for you. Um and honestly, this is getting really overwhelming for me. So we need to sit down and figure out what we can do from here. Like, I understand you're getting anxious. I understand you're worried about this. I understand how you're feeling and stuff. So, what specifically are you anxious about? What specific things are bothering you that it's constantly bothering you that it's causing you to constantly have an issue with it? Like, you
Right.
need to speak about specific things because obviously if it's a reoccurring issue, then you need to find out, okay, what is the center of the issue? What is causing the issue? All right.
Well, the
So,
thing that sorry to cut you off, but the thing she was saying was she was once anxious. Now she's avoidant
right. And it
because
comes from the exhaustion of carrying the emotional baggage of the relationship.
oh, okay. Yeah, you lost me for a second.
Sorry.
So it comes from you. All right, I got you. And I do understand now.
Yep.
I do understand because I think that was me. I think that's probably what happened always. She
It
said right
happens a
on.
lot. It happens a lot with the woman where the woman takes on most of the emotional baggage of the relationship
Mhm.
because not an insult to men, but most of the time men aren't as emotionally intelligent or emotionally aware because women are raised entirely differently than men are. We're constantly told we need to be respectful, we need to be aware of people's emotions, we have to please people, we can't make a scene, we have to be polite. You know, we're
Mhm.
constantly put in like this socially constructed box of you have to be quiet, obedient, you have to please everyone, you can't act out, you can't be seen as rude. You know, if a woman is assertive, she's bossy. If a man's assertive, oh, he's a leader, right?
Mhm.
So you also got to think about it like that. Most men they're not really raised to pay attention to their other people around them. They're not raised to be aware of other people's emotions around them. They're not raised to where, oh, you can't hurt people's feelings. You have to be aware constantly of how other people are feeling and how you're coming off to everyone.
Ooh, that's
So,
me.
yep. So they're not really aware and emotionally and like emotionally mature because they
Mhm.
weren't like raised in that environment, right? And
Yeah.
that takes a lot of work. And a lot of women also aren't emotionally mature because you get raised by like a lot of women who are jealous of their daughters and stuff. So they don't
Ooh.
have emotional maturity either. So it kind of goes off there. A lot of children to raise people who are like healthy adults in society, you have to gain and learn emotional maturity. And if you're not taught that by leadership of the adults in your life, then you kind of have to go and learn it yourself. And that can be pretty hard because you'll lose relationships and stuff like friendships and sometimes even family because you don't realize how you're coming off to people. You don't realize you're coming off rude. You don't realize you're coming off selfish and stuff like that, and that ruins relationships. And that's what happens with a lot of men. They don't realize they're putting all the emotional baggage on their wives because they don't think about it as emotional baggage. They're worried about their point of view because men are kind of raised to be a little self-centered. You know, you go, you're the star, you know, you be the star football player, you be the star basketball player, you know, you have to be a big successful businessman, you have to get that money, you know, you have to get that good degree and stuff like that. They're raised to focus on themselves and their goals and what they want. So even though they're not meaning to come off as selfish, they're like raised and socially like they're self-centered. And that takes a lot of work to like break through that and realize that as a person. And again, it's not just men. Like some women can be raised to be self-centered as well, where you have to be pretty, you know, you have to be the best at like the sport or whatever. Like a lot of it has to do with sports. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Sports are a big thing. Okay. So it all comes from that as well, to where you have to realize, and again, it gets put on the woman a lot, where you have to be the one to stand up and tell your husband, hey, you're putting all the emotional baggage on me. I need you to, I need me time. I need you to focus on me and my issues and my emotional needs for a bit now. Okay? I need the support now, all right? Can we pause on you and worry about me now? And that's okay. And a lot of people don't realize because they're trained to, oh, when you focus on yourself, that's selfish, right? But you also have to realize it can't constantly be one person supporting the other person.
True.
You need to have balance. And it is totally okay to tell your partner, hey, we've been focusing on you a lot and I kind of need support right now. Can we like pause on you? Can we focus on me for right now? Because I really need the support right now. I'm really struggling, right? And that's completely okay. And like, yeah, for like the first couple times, right, you're going to feel selfish. You're going to feel bad. And it's going to be hard to actually set that boundary and be like, I need your support now. I need the support, okay? And that's
It's definitely
suck, but you need to
tough.
push through that. And it sucked, especially with me and my husband, right? Because I was so used to not having that support. And if I wanted something, then I got pushed away and punished for it and stuff like that. And I lost something usually. So, but after I've done it, we've been living together, have a relationship and stuff, and everything, right? For 3, almost 4 years now. So
I think
it
us
took
too.
a lot. But we're in a good place now.
And that's good, and that's awesome for real. And I really think that also some people need to lean on, you know, I don't know anybody, you know, their spiritual faith or whatever, but lean on some prayer, lean on some meditation. You know what I'm saying? If you can, during that time, like for you, that you need your space, take that time out to meditate. You know what I'm saying? Or prayer or whatever. You know what I mean? Because if we just sitting there and we just get in space and nothing's happening while we're in that space, what's the purpose? What's the point? Just to have the space? No, what are we actively doing in that moment in time where we get that space? And honestly, we need that space. And as an anxious attachment style for me, I actually learned to enjoy my space by focusing on myself. So maybe anxious attachments need to start focusing on themselves, growing, evolving, you know, learning, and all of those good things. But we can tackle next tomorrow because we're talking about anxious attachment. So that's how I came out of being an anxious attachment as well, is that I started focusing on things in my own personal growth. Yeah. Grand Rising Crap, you came in so late. I'm about to end the live. Aw. But yeah, we're going to be touching on this.
Attachment, before we leave, with anxious attachment, a lot of people have insecurities. So it's not just anxious attachment, but anxious attachment people have more, usually their insecurities are more intense, which makes them anxious, which is what makes them chase because they need that immediate reassurance. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're avoidant, or even if you're not avoidant, and the conflict got really, really intense, and you need a minute to calm down, it's got overwhelming, you need
Thank you,
space,
Crown.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Reassure your partner. You got to have that reassurance, especially for anxious attachment people. They need that reassurance of I still love you. I am upset, but
But
I still love you. My
that can
feelings
get
about
draining sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, that gets draining sometimes.
But you
And
gotta think of it like this though. You have your own insecurities and stuff your partner has to put up and deal with as
say, yeah,
well.
you did say that
So
earlier. Yeah.
how are you gonna feel if your partner sits there and goes, "Oh, baby, I don't really want to put up with this right now. I know you need this right now, but I
Well,
don't really want to do this right now
I got
because
an
I
answer
just
for
can't."
you.
It
I got
makes
an
them
answer
feel
for you.
bad.
I got an answer for you though.
What?
When, like, for instance, if somebody said to me that it will make me actually step back and look within myself and say, maybe I am doing a little too much. But not everybody think like that though.
Right.
Not everybody
And
has that
there's a
self-awareness.
difference between doing too much, but there's also meeting the bare minimum as well. And there's a difference between sitting there and telling your partner, I love you, I need a minute, nothing's changed between us, I
Mm-hmm.
just need a minute. It takes literally 30 seconds, less than a minute, to just give that quick reassurance of, I still love you, we're good in our relationship, I just need a minute. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, if that's too much for you in a relationship to do, you shouldn't be in a relationship, because then you are putting like your partner's needs
Mm-hmm.
over, you're putting their needs under your wants. Like, it does not take much effort to take like the 30 seconds to go, I still love you, we're still good, I just need a minute. And if you're not willing
Mm-hmm.
to put in that effort, then you're not willing to put in the big effort when it's needed elsewhere in that relationship. Your relationship's going to eventually fail, because then resentment's going to build because your partner doesn't feel supported, because then they start feeling like a
Yeah.
burden.
Yeah. And it's no lie there. It's no lie there. And I truly think that's why, like you said, communication is very important. But again, if you communicate, you have to be willing to, um, you have to be open to digest what is being communicated to you, which means be an active listener, right?
Right, that
That
as
that's
well. And as an
right.
avoidant, if I'm sitting there and I'm stressed out, I'm wanting to leave the situation because I can't handle it right now, how
Hmm.
much do you think I'm going to sit there and like digest and understand in that conversation, right? Where do you think that conversation is going to go, except for me eventually blowing up because I'm frustrated and overwhelmed and just
Wow.
I can't deal with it. I'm overstimulated, right? So it's either I get the chance to sit there and step back and say, I love you, and reassure you that I still love you so I can get a
Okay.
minute to calm down and regulate my emotions, or we sit there and fight. I say stuff I don't mean, you say stuff you don't mean, and then eventually we either break up or we go to bed angry and feelings are hurt, and then that creates a rift eventually. And then that rift will go bigger and bigger and bigger when all
Hmm.
you had to do at the beginning was just respect the need your partner is communicating of, I need a minute because I am overwhelmed.
Hmm.
I don't know what I'm feeling, I don't know what I'm thinking, I can't process anything right now. That's why we need to step away, because we can't process stuff right now. We need to step away so we can process what's going on.
So basically, uh, the anxious attachment need to, what's the word I was looking for? It was in my head. Anxious, my eyes uncrossed. Anxious attachment need to basically respect the space
Yes,
in the
because if
best
you
way that they
don't,
know
it's
how.
just right. And the avoidant needs to respect that that attachment needs some reassurance right now, because again, it's not one or the other. You both need to
Yeah.
respect each other's needs. As the avoidant, I need space, but as the anxious, my husband needs that immediate reassurance that we're good. I'm not breaking up with him, I'm not thinking about leaving him, I'm not putting a plan
Yeah.
together to leave, I don't hate him,
But
I'm not sitting
but
there stewing in anger.
but Crimson, what if the avoidant don't have time to explain that? What if they need to get out right now?
Because it takes like 30 seconds to sit there and go, I still love you, I still care, I need a minute. Because you
And
could sit
30
there, I've
seconds
done
turned
that
into
before.
30 minutes.
No, I've done that before
But
where
it
I've
seems
just
to
had to
protect.
sit there and say, I love you. I love you. We're good. I need a minute. And I'm sitting there saying that while I'm walking down the hallway out of the living room,
Oh my
right?
God.
And he sits there
Yeah.
and he'll respect that. And now
Hmm.
he's also reassured because even though I'm sitting there walking away, I'm sitting there leaving and fulfilling my need, I'm also sitting there still conscious of his need of reassurance. Because I'm still taking that 30 seconds, even though I'm in the middle of walking away. I'm still taking that time to sit there and reassure him, I still love him, we're good.
So what if the anxious attachment, like, okay, well, while you need your space, you sit on that side of the couch. I sit on this side of the couch. Boom, we got space. But you right
That's
here.
also happened with me and him before, where we've had
Okay.
a disagreement to where it didn't get to the point where it was heated or anything, but I had some complicated feelings because it was like a big decision we were discussing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't very emotional, but it wasn't like very high tense emotions, but it was a very complicated thing to think about. It was emotional because it was a big decision, right? But it
Right.
wasn't high tense. So we could sit there and sit on the couch. He played his game. I sat there and like played a little puzzle on my phone while I was sitting there thinking about it, wondering like, okay, so like this makes me feel that way, this makes me feel that way. All right, what are the pros of doing this? What are the cons? And putting together like all that list in my head and stuff. And he's sitting there playing his game. I'm
Hey,
sitting there
Raj.
thinking about,
Mm-hmm.
my decision and everything. And then 30 minutes, an hour later, I go, hey baby, I'm ready to talk about it. And he'll go, okay, either give me a minute, let me get to a place where I could save, or he can put it down right now and talk. And
So
then
he
we'll
don't
talk
go
about it.
he don't go into protest mode. Me, I go into protest mode. I'm like, no, you ain't want to talk to me earlier. Like
See, that is what's going to poison your relationship because
exactly.
now you are punishing your partner for communicating their need. And at that point, why don't you just tell them to go fuck themselves anyways?
Ooh, ooh, ooh. F bomb, F bomb.
Sorry. Why don't you
Yeah.
just tell them to F off anyways? Because then
Yeah.
that just shows you don't care. So if you're gonna sit there and basically tell me you don't care when I'm telling you, okay, I fulfilled my need, now I want to talk about it, now I'm ready, then you're just starting another fight. You didn't care in the first place, so you should have just told me, you know what, it doesn't matter. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
think about it, it doesn't matter. And then at that point, what are you doing? Do you want to have a conversation with your partner? Do you want to solve this issue or do you want to fight? And that's the question
Right.
you need to ask yourself when your partner steps away because they're avoidant and they need that time to cool off, they need that time to think and process is,
Mm-hmm.
do you want to fight or do you want to solve your issue? And that is the biggest thing you need to answer. If you want to fight, you shouldn't be in a relationship. You honestly shouldn't, because then
Yeah.
what's the point of the relationship? You just want someone to fight with, get a roommate. Get a
Right.
roommate, have a toxic friend. Like there's plenty of those around you can get that'll sit there and stay in that toxic friendship with you.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
I do wanna thank you, Crimson. You are a gem. I appreciate. I'm really loving this conversation. I don't want to have to end the live, but I do have to. It's now going on 11 o'clock. I am going to state this one more time for the people that's coming in, that just came in. Um, we're definitely going to be talking about this for the remainder of the week. Not necessarily. Um, we're going to break down the attachment styles. Let's put it like that. Today, this was the opening discussion about the different types. But yeah, we're going to break it down and have more conversation. What in the world? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So we're going to talk about the anxious attachment tomorrow. Okay. And it's going to be conversation about reassurance, and overthinking and the fear of being left. Okay. So, and I think fearful avoidance, I think they got a little bit of that too,
Yep.
but it's a combination of the avoidant and the attachment, anxious attachment, right? I think so.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah, but we're going to touch on that. Just if you have time to come back this
Yeah, I
week,
work thirds,
and
so I'm usually up until like 2 in the afternoon anyways, because I get off at like
okay,
7 a.m. And I'm the type of person, I can't go like to bed right after work. I have to sit there and
okay,
stay up.
All right. Well, I thank you again for joining the panel and giving us all some insight and dropping some gems. Thank you to all the people who have contributed to Elevating the Live with the likes, the gifts. I appreciate you all. Thank you for all who grabbed your Daily Heart Me. If you have not grabbed your Daily Heart Me, you can do so right up here. It'll say follow the host or the creator, and then it'll have an orange heart there. You can go ahead and grab your Daily Heart Me. And I will be back here tomorrow. I promise you guys, I will try to get here at 8 o'clock. This morning was rough. I had my granddaughter this morning. Ugh, I ain't getting no sleep. And when I went back to sleep, I woke up late. So thank you for grabbing your Daily Heart Me, Hannah. And I hope to see you also tomorrow. We're going to be talking about anxious attachment and so forth and so on. We're going to learn about all 4 different attachment styles. Okay. And then we're going to get to the light at the end of the tunnel. All right. So I hope you all stay tuned. This is a series for this week. So stay tuned. All right. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for all the support. Thank you, Sensei, for staying all the way to the end. Thank you to everybody who stayed all the way to the end. I appreciate you, although I cannot see your names. And everybody that's watching the FYP. All right. You stay safe too, Crap. And I will see y'all tomorrow morning. All right. Have a great day on purpose. Don't let nobody mess up your day. Stay blessed. Taco Tuesday, y'all. Bye.